Christmas of 2020, I was hanging out with my family. It was around Christmas time, so we were celebrating the holidays. And I got a text from my sister who was in Wyoming at the time. And she's like, hey, our Facebook ad account got shut down. Our Facebook business manager got shut down. Like that text is like burned into my brain, because what you don't know is at that time, 90% of our revenue came from Facebook advertising. So essentially her text wasn't, oh, technological detail, this thing isn't working anymore. It's, you've lost 90% of your revenue. And it's the holidays and you're not at home in your office and you probably are gonna have to let some people go. Like that's basically what the text I got. And I think it was like the day after Christmas. I think it was like maybe even the day before New Year's. And I just remember like the conversation. I'm sitting in the booth, listening to like them chat about what's going on in their lives. And I just am like nauseous because this is so bad. And I wanted to, I'm going to do like 11 lessons here that I learned from that moment and how we fixed it and what we did and how to never go there again. And so I'm just going to fire off, like rapid fire, the lessons I've learned so that you can learn them without having to have 90% of your revenue cut. So lesson 1, some things in business are not in your control. Like I don't control Facebook. They can decide that they're not wanting me to advertise anymore. I don't control that. So some things in business are just not in your control. Lesson number 2, become a better risk manager. We did a shit job managing our risk because 90% of our revenue came from one traffic source at the time. And that was a risk. And when shit hit the fan, we were left very exposed. Lesson number 3, similar, diversify your leads. Okay. This is especially relevant once you pass the 7-figure mark. We were over 7 figures. We definitely should have been diversifying our leads. Lesson number 4, I wrote this down. Don't let the Zuck have the final say in your business. So what I meant by that is like a really shitty situation isn't going to have the final say in your success. And I learned that I had to take, and this is the most important lesson you can learn, I had to take total and complete responsibility for the success of my business. And I'm looking right through the camera to you. You are in charge of the success of your business. Nobody else. Not the gurus on the internet, not the coach you've paid, not your best friend, not your biz bestie, not your significant other. You are in charge of the success of your business. Own that responsibility. Your team's not responsible. Your mentor's not responsible. You are in charge of your success in your business. It buck stops with you, babe. Like that's just how it goes. That was a big lesson I learned. Lesson number 5, I remember I keep saying this. You have to be willing to ride the lows. So I remember saying this a lot. Remember, I'm like deliriously stressed. I'm like sick to my stomach. But I remember saying in that like fog of that time period, I remember saying, I have to be willing to ride the lows if I want to ride the highs. So I'm celebrating a 7-figure business. We're making so much money. Like we had bought amazing gifts for our family that year. It was a fun Christmas. Like it was a really awesome Christmas. I'm like, look, I have to be willing to ride the lows if I want to ride the highs, right? When you're running a 7-figure business, you tend to have 7-figure problems. Lesson number 6, channel your frustration into action. That's one of the things we did really well. I was so frustrated. I was like, this is so not fair. Like we didn't violate anything. We even paid somebody to like come in and help us be, what's the word where it's like compliant. We paid somebody to like have us come in and be compliant. So we knew that we weren't violating any of Facebook's terms of agreement, and it just didn't matter. And there's no like support. You can't appeal it really. Like you can technically appeal it, but like, and we tried all the different things. We hired experts, but at the end of the day, like it was frustrating, but we channeled our frustration into action. And the thing I'm the most proud of is even though 90% of our revenue is cut, we didn't dip below $100,000 that month. We found a different way to make it happen. We just didn't use Facebook ads that month. It was a lot harder. We definitely had some elbow grease to get there, but we didn't dip. Lesson number 7 is to get support from experts. So like I mentioned a little earlier, we brought a ton of people into the company to like help us figure out what we did wrong and really just to like reassure us that like it wasn't the end of the world. I think that was the big thing that like really helped was they reassured us that like, okay, this stuff happens and it is what it is. And here's how you're going to move forward. So be supported by experts. That's important. Lesson number 8, think long term. So one of the things we're doing with YouTube is we're thinking long term. And yes, we're diversifying our leads, but it takes a little longer, right? Like it's very diverse. YouTube and Facebook are 2 totally different platforms, 2 totally different companies. Like I don't even think Facebook and Instagram are that diverse because it's all under the same parent company. So if Facebook decides they hate you, they can also shut down your Instagram account. So it's not super diverse in my opinion, but like YouTube and Facebook, super different. So we're thinking long-term. It takes a while to see results from YouTube, but we're thinking long-term. And that's why one of the reasons why we're doing YouTube. So think long-term. Lesson number 9, random question. Be careful with the random sites that sell business managers. So one of the things that you can do is if your Facebook business account, like your advertising thing gets shut down, you can like buy business managers, but they're scams. We only pay like $350 for it, but still like it was a waste of $350. There's not many things you can do if your business manager gets shut down. There's a couple things you can do, but you have to know the right people. And yeah, it just has to be like right place, right time kind of thing. For the most part, those like business manager things that you buy are just a waste of money. So don't buy them. Lesson 10, allow this to permanently change the way you run your business. So there's a difference between like allowing trauma to run your life, which this was a very traumatic experience for me, versus like, okay, here's the lesson I learned and here's what I'm never doing again. So allow this moment, and it could be any difficult moment you're going through. Like maybe you had a really big client that you lost, or maybe you had your first ever refund request, or like whatever it might be. Allow it to permanently change the way you run your business. Our leads are much more diversified, and that is 100% because of this situation. So if all of a sudden we got booted off of Facebook, or we got booted off of Pinterest, or we got booted off of, we would lose 20% of our revenue versus basically 190 to 100% of our revenue. So this situation permanently changed the way we run our company, and our company is better now because of that. Finally, lesson 11, your recovery is closer than you think if you fight for it. So in the moment, any bad situation, this could be a job loss, this could be a difficult time in your marriage, it could literally be anything. In the moment, it feels like it's never going to end and is always going to be that terrible. But that's just not the reality. Typically, your recovery is closer than you think, but you have to fight for it. That's what I've learned. So we recovered from this horrible thing within a month. Like, again, like I said earlier, we didn't even dip below $100,000 that month. We recovered same month. Even during the holidays, even during the stress, even during everything else, we still hit our numbers. And so our recovery was a lot closer than we thought, but we had to work smart, right? We had to be, okay, we need to generate $100,000 this month. What are we going to do that? We did it because we know what we're doing, but still the point of that is your recovery is closer than you think. So maybe take a breath and focus on gratitude. Now, if you are in a place in your business where you're making some money, but you feel like it's not very diversified, or you feel like you've plateaued, or you feel like you should be making a lot more than you currently are, you could be a really good fit for our 100K mastermind. We're not sure. So the way it works is we have about 32-ish people per month who are trying to get in, and we bring in one person per month because it's such an intimate coaching experience with me, right? Where I take a look at your business, I say, hey, you implement this, you implement this, you implement this. Here's some systems and processes and just things we've done at our company. And basically, I show you how I hit 7 figures. So if you're interested and you feel like you've plateaued and you want more, go to mariawendt.com/apply or click the link below, and then I'll kind of walk you through next steps in terms of applying to join the 100K Mastermind. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a like. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one.